Funding for Shaperillis is provided by Squarespace, the sponsor of today's video. From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence and run your business. LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga is finally here! And in honor of this new, super expansive, super fun game, Patrick and I are ranking all the levels in the original LEGO Star Wars.
Yeah, we wanted to get this out before the new game dropped, but oh well!
It took a long time. In all seriousness, LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga was the first video game we ever fell in love with. It captivated our imagination and made us wonder what the rest of the medium of gaming was capable of. It's so cool that this game has stuck around in our culture for this long, and there's still a ton of people talking about it. I think it's a testament to how well it's made and how much love and care was poured into it. Its levels nail the look and feel of the movie scenes they're based on top of just being flat out fun. I'm so happy I get to describe how good this game is again, and express how much it means to me. But some of these levels suck real hard, so let's get into that.
Oh, and also, by the way, James is going to mention where the 6 bonus levels will be placed. They won't be officially part of the numbered ranking, but he'll tell you where we put them on the ranking when we get there. Okay, let's go.
Disappointment in the game of life.
Surprise, surprise, it's Gunship Cavalry. This level fucking sucks. It was terrible in the original LEGO Star Wars, but the Complete Saga just made it worse somehow. We might as well talk about both versions of the level, since they both collectively make up the bottom spot. So originally, this level was an auto-scroller, which moves so fast and includes so many obstacles that it's practically impossible to avoid taking damage. And I hope you don't die, cause guess what? There's barely any checkpoints, so if you make it to the end of a section and die, you're starting that whole section over instead of just respawning where you died, like literally every other level. The ending part where you shoot things with a timer on screen is mindless, but perfectly serviceable at least. So yeah, that level was terrible. Complete Saga more or less entirely redesigned it, making a few great improvements by removing the auto-scrolling and letting you respawn exactly where you died. But somehow, the level is worse now because of the use of these fucking bombs. Dragging these bombs through large stretches of the level multiple times to blow up multiple targets is so tedious and unfun that it's insane. These things get caught on everything. Enemies, bottomless pits, you name it. You can take a bomb so close to where it needs to go, and then have it blow up through no fault of your own, meaning you gotta waste even more time making another trip with another bomb and hoping the same thing doesn't happen again. There's still a shit ton of lasers and things that can kill you, so if you die, you better hope your bomb doesn't roll away and get destroyed by the time you respawn. If it does, oh well, get fucked. That's Gunship Cavalry for ya.
Man, fuck Gunship Cavalry. All my homies hate Gunship Cavalry. That's all I have to say, because I don't want to be associated with gunship crappily.
You know, Attack of the Clones has pretty good levels generally, but you would never know it just from looking at its vehicle levels. Bounty Hunter Pursuit was a newly added level to the Complete Saga. I guess time constraints prevented it from being in the original LEGO Star Wars, because that game only had 5 Attack of the Clones levels, while the other games have 6. Honestly, why couldn't you have stayed that way? No level at all is better than this shit. It's kinda cool aesthetically, capturing Coruscant really well, but that's where my compliments end. The mini-kits in this level are so tedious. There's so many 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 5 things to shoot down, and it's way more exhausting than if they had just hidden the mini-kits in creative places you wouldn't expect to find them. Plus, these segments where you're trapped between power couplings are extremely tedious and annoying. Like, once you get the torpedo dispenser online, you just fly into it and shoot them at multiple targets. It's so simplistic and lame, and then you repeat it a second time. Why?
If there was one word I'd use to describe this level, it would be sloppy. I have no idea what you're supposed to do with this traffic light. I shoot it and torpedo it, only for it to do nothing, until it randomly decides to give me a mini-kit. The quote-unquote boss fight is laughably easy. It doesn't matter where or when you fire, you'll end up killing Zam by accident. They reduce your amount of hearts to 2 for some reason? I guess they wanted to salvage some semblance of difficulty, but the fight lasts literal seconds, so it doesn't even matter. You know, this terrible, unpolished nature reminds me of the kind of levels you'd find in LEGO Indiana Jones. 2. The red brick being attached to a balloon for no reason is what clued me in to where I've seen this random, wacky bullshit before. Makes sense, given how similar in quality Attack of the Clones and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull are.
Okay, that's mean. Crystal Skull's at least a 5 out of 10 movie, but yeah, I see your point. Alright, that's enough of this level. Now get me as far away from Coruscant as possible! Now!
Dude, those animals are so fucking funny, they make me want to merge without looking!
Speeder Showdown is a bad level, cause you're on vehicles most of the time. You see, it's funny, cause vehicle levels are terrible. Do you want to explode? Cause that's gonna happen to Luke and Leia over and over again as you crash into unavoidable trees. Do you want to die? Well, the amount of time you have to commandeer an ATST to destroy a shield generator will lead you to depression. No level in the game exemplifies tedium better than this one. You are speeding around a terrible course with terrible controls to shoot terrible scout troopers and collect terrible mini-kits. 5 times. Shoot randomly and maybe you'll hit the scout troopers if they don't turn around, which they do. A lot. These mini-kits are all the same thing. If there were 3 of them, I could excuse it. But 6? There were plenty of other places to put mini-kits in this level, cause there are so many padded out areas for building ATSTs. You could have sneakily hidden droid panels in the plants instead of forcing me to spend more time going back and forth to get all these mini-kits on the course. Is there anything of quality in this level?
There's a cool part at the end where you get to hijack an AT-AT and blow some targets up. That's it. That's all the value this level has. And it's not like piloting that AT-AT is even that cool. You're just slowly turning and shooting stationary towers, which isn't even a thing that happened in the original movie. Hell, this platform you blow up just appears again in the cutscene for Jedi Destiny. I mean, maybe it was a different platform, I don't know, who gives a shit. This level sucks. Even though the bottom 2 are worse from an objective critical standpoint, this is the one we dread the most, and it makes us not want to continue Return of the Jedi because of how ungodly tedious it is. But we drudge through it anyway because Palpatine is pretty epic.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Empire on Ice!
Hoth Battle. This is the 4th worst level in the game, and I still think it's ranked too high. It confounds me how they took one of the best and most iconic ship battles in the series and completely butchered it. The one thing that they get right is the satisfaction of tying up an AT-AT with your tow cable. But even that can't remain untarnished because of those stupid-ass bombs. James already mentioned how easily they snag on objects, but this level thought they weren't annoying enough. Cause probe droids also have the ability to use tow cable on bombs. At best, it's gonna take an even longer time to drag a bomb cause a probe droid is pulling it in the opposite direction. That is, if a fucking swarm of probe droids don't all attach to your bomb at the same time, you're left with no choice but to shoot them if you want to move, but make sure you don't accidentally destroy your own bomb with your blaster fire. I know the gaggle of ATSTs would while you're busy trying to get the probe droids to fuck off. Gunship Cavalry also had too much shit on screen, but theoretically, you could get lucky and get the bombs to their destination on the first try. That would make the amount of times you need to get a bomb relatively minimal. But here? Even if your bomb doesn't get destroyed on the way to its destination, you'll need to go back for bombs constantly. Cause everything needs a bomb! Down AT-AT? Bomb! Wall? Bomb! Balancing my checkbook? You, Hoth Battle. You single-handedly sullied every other Empire level by putting the player in a bad fucking mood.
Ultimately, this level does get some points for capturing the look and feel of the Hoth Battle expertly, and the music is top-notch and really exciting. There's some cool caves to explore and find secrets in as well, but yeah, this level really blows. The tow bomb mechanic is the worst thing in the entire game, and having a level entirely built around it is just a nightmare to get through. The cutscenes are cute though. Patrick and I had to watch that long-ass opening cutscene 30 times as kids because it's unskippable, and we had to keep retrying this level over and over because it was unbeatable for us. But it's a cute cutscene, I guess. Bonus level alert. This is where we would rank Anakin's flight, a bonus level based on the space battle from Phantom Menace. Everyone's favorite scene. The level was perfectly serviceable and average until we get to this fucking atrocious ending where you have to wait for what seems like forever for these rotating ray shields to turn off, only to get like 2 seconds to fire at the targets you need to hit before the ray shields pop back up and waste even more of your time. This level got dragged down like 6 or 7 spots just because of this. It really is one of the most frustrating parts of the entire game. But I like when Anakin says oopsie after destroying the ship and killing everyone on board. That's funny.
Oops! The odds of surviving a direct assault on an Imperial star just... Shut up, Lino!
Falcon Flight is the best vehicle level in Empire Strikes Back, but not by much. Yeah, despite Empire's stellar character levels, the vehicle segments do drag it down a bit. This is better than Hoth Battle because it doesn't have annoying bombs to drag anywhere, but it's just so dull and repetitive. Shooting the guns off the Star Destroyers is kind of fun, but once we get to the asteroid field, it's just the same thing over and over again. Shoot asteroids, blow up targets with torpedoes, do the same thing 3 more times. That's the whole level. Thanks for playing, Dick Nips. The only cool thing about this level is the fact that you can go into the space slug. That's pretty cute. Okay, that's all I got. Patrick, you got anything interesting to say about this one?
Well, you got me. By all accounts, I have nothing left to add. The ending cutscene has Gonk Droid in it. That gave me more serotonin than the entirety of the level, so let's just move on.
Bonus level alert. This is where we would rank A New Hope, a level that was thrown into the first LEGO Star Wars game as a cute little teaser for the original trilogy. You play as Darth Vader with a stormtrooper in tow, and you make your way through a rebel ship chopping down rebel troopers. Hey, wait a minute. Was this the inspiration for that scene in Rogue One? I mean, definitely not, but it's kind of cute to think of this level as a Rogue One Vader hallway scene simulator. Other than that, it's very short and isn't really that good, like, at all. There's nothing here. There's no secrets or anything, really. C-3PO joins your party for some reason. That's weird.
Chancellor,
you alright?
Count Dooku.
There's something poetic about all this. Dooku was the lamest main villain in the prequels, so he gets the lamest boss level in the game. There's nothing to Dooku's secret base, which I guess is pretty accurate to the movie, so why didn't they just start the level in the boss room? Oh wait! I know the reason. So we can have this free play exclusive cutscene where you can see whoever you brought into the level epically run up to Dooku. It's already great to see characters like PK Droid, Beach Trooper, or Lobot run up to challenge Dooku, but the scene just gets even funnier when you bring a slow-moving character into the room. Like 3PO, God Droid, or even Yoda, who's supposed to be here. This is honestly the biggest compliment I have for this level. I like how Anakin and his severed hand are actually on the ground in story mode. That's it. I'm out of ideas. James, talk about the boss fight or something.
Dooku uses his epic force circles to prevent you from getting close to him, and then you kind of just throw objects at him and slash him. Pretty much like every other boss fight in the game. It's just kind of fine, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of annoying when you're trying to find secrets in Dooku's room, but he just wants to fight you, and he keeps getting in your grill. Like, chill out, bro. I just want to get all the mini kits. I don't know, man. I can't imagine having any strong opinions on this level whatsoever, so yeah, who cares?
We should no care about Naboo.
There's not really a whole lot to say about Invasion of Naboo. It's very pretty and unique aesthetically, and there's some fun platforming with Jar Jar, but like, that's about it, really. There's not a ton to discover here. You can get like 8 of the 10 mini-kits in story mode, which is a little sad and speaks to how non-replayable this rather small-ass level is. It's not bad, but it's really nothing special. It might have been cooler if you actually got to go to the underwater Gungan city and do some puzzles there to be able to speak to Boss Nass or something, but I guess they didn't have time to make that sort of thing. Oh well, it's whatever, it's fine.
At the very least, you can kill the stampeding Gungans with Force Choke or Lightning in free play. I mean, hey, the less Gungans in the world, the better. I like how you take this priceless painting, which I can only assume is named the Mona Misa, and turn it into a platform. The swamp aesthetic sure is neat, except Dagobah is also a swamp, and it's a vastly superior level. Okay, this level is kinda poodoo.
Forget your shitty Gungan ship, get on mine! It's the best ship ever!
Escape from Naboo is fine, it's prettier than you. This level does its job as a blaster tutorial, with tons of targets to shoot and grapple hooks to ascend with. However, being a tutorial level is not an excuse for blandness. Negotiations is a tutorial level, but just wait till you see where we place that one. The only thing Escape from Naboo has that can't really be found in any other level are all those portraits of Padme! I had no idea she was this much of a narcissist. This level introduces the elusive purple stud. That's something you don't see every day. Yeah, I think I'm done with this part. James, take the wheel.
Escape from Naboo sure is a collection of rooms that are completely interchangeable from Retake Thneed Palace later on. I guess shooting targets and blasting windows open is kind of fun, but ultimately, there's really not much this level does that isn't done better by other levels. It's perfectly serviceable, but it never really rises above that. Oh well, such a shame the level forgot to put Jar Jar in it, even though he was there in the original scene. Oopsie. What a terrible error that everyone is sad about.
We must ruin the West.
Ruin of the Jedi might just be the weirdest choice for a level in the entire game. Instead of having a level where Mace Windu and friends fight the Senate, or Yoda gets to fight the Senate, or you straight up just play as the Senate, and you give your epic speech about society to the rest of the Senate, this level has no Senate in it. It's about Obi-Wan and Yoda going to the Jedi Temple to recalibrate the codes, warning all surviving Jedi to stay away. That's really boring. It's such a minor aspect of the movie, and it's so weird they chose to adapt it instead of some of the actual action scenes that wouldn't be too hard to make location-wise. Hell, the Senate building is already in the game in the 2-player arcade mode. What gives? This level has some fun elements to it, like going into the Jedi Council room and stacking up all the chairs, or fighting the disguised clones, which are based on this one deleted scene where the clones disguise themselves as Jedi. Why did they ever think that was gonna work? Thank God George deleted that. That would have been a huge tone killer. But it is immortalized in funny Lego form, so that's nice.
I gotta say though, this level loses a lot of points with the penultimate room. Having to use the Force to pull out these platforms so you can reach the high up levers is exhausting. Because not only is it easy to fall off here, not only do the platforms refuse to stay out permanently, but you have to repeat this 3 times. 6 times if you're trying to get everything in free play. But before said tedium can take place, you have to get past these arms holding the circular platforms up, which don't even need to exist. This is Star Wars, a galaxy where floating platforms reign supreme. Why waste time modeling and rigging these arms? Never in Revenge of the Sith was Obi-Wan ever like,
"Hey, Master Yoda, I'm gonna look at the security holograms, but first we've got to activate these levers that we installed on the ceiling in order to move this giant platform which we used to block the entrance of the room instead of just putting a door in the door frame. Why didn't we just install a door, Master? It would have been so much cheaper and easier to open."
Told me to design it this way. My good friend the Chancellor did.
Master Yoda, Chancellor Palpatine is evil!
No evil. Have no proof that this is the case, we do. Seen him being sussy on the security holograms. We have not.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Then go check the security holograms.
Alright, do that I shall. See the problem I do.
Oh, do ya? Retake Thneed Palace, aka why is this level so long? Oh my god, it goes on forever. It's got a ton of cool moments, like in the opening where you get to pilot the speeder with a gun and shoot down droids. Some of the short event puzzles with Anakin are kinda cool, and the ending bit where you get to rescue the pilots is a pretty nice way to wrap it up. There's also cool secrets to be found since the level's so big and expansive, but man, after a while this one really starts to drag. It's visually repetitive and it definitely did not need as many sub areas as it had. Some of them could have been cool as optional segments you could only access in free play, but as is, it's more than a little exhausting. This one part where you have to get all 6 of your party members onto a ledge in order to press buttons to progress is so tedious, cause you gotta figure it out for everyone. You gotta get the grapple hook set up for Padme and Black Farquaad, and then you gotta get the lift for R2 to fly. Then Shorty Anakin's gotta get low. Then Qui-Gon and Oogie Boogie gotta use the Force on these blocks on each other, and wow, we did it! That took way longer than necessary. Oh cool, the level's not done. Epic.
Thankfully, they saved the best parts of the level at the end. The dining room has a ton of nooks and crannies for studs and mini kits, and a dining room table that you have to set up, then promptly destroy to get a power brick. However, nothing in the level compares to the final room. Rescuing all the Naboo royal guards really does the concept of retaking the palace justice. And it's a treasure trove of, well, treasure. There are so many studs to collect in some tricky, out-of-the-reach spots. Don't give up on true Jedi if you don't have it by this room. The hangar room is massive, but not too big, cause you have a floor sweeper you can ride. Honestly, I don't think I mind this level's length when thinking of it as a gauntlet, meant to test all the skills you have learned throughout the Phantom Menace. That is, if it weren't for the fact that this level is your first introduction to shorties and R2 units. You can't introduce new gimmicks in a level meant to test your Jedi and blaster skills. What they should have done is take the opening room, the dining room part, and the hangar room, and push them into Escape from Naboo! Those rooms are the best ones. They mostly only require Jedi and blasters. It would make Escape from Naboo end where it actually ends in the cutscene, and it would free up room for a different 5th level that isn't just another Naboo palace level. They could have put Anakin's flight here, or make a level out of the Gungan battle. Why did they choose to make 2 Naboo palace levels? We no cares about the Naboo.
Bonus level alert. This is where we would rank Mos Espa Pod Race Original. We obviously haven't talked about the regular Pod Race level yet, so we won't say too much, but this is that level. But worse, because it's annoying to have to catch up to a certain racer every minute or so, or else you have to restart that segment. It makes this level way less fun, and I'm glad they fixed it. Moving on.
Hello there.
The original LEGO Star Wars, which adapted the prequel trilogy, was released the same year as Revenge of the Sith. As a result, you can tell they had to cut corners with the Revenge of the Sith levels. However, above all else, the Grievous boss level is incredibly underwhelming. The entire fight is attack Grievous, he jumps to a place, use Cody to shoot at the things, follow Grievous back to the starting platform, rinse and repeat.
It's one of the few levels in the game that really feels like the team was restricted in their adaptation of the original movie scene. Despite how disappointing it is, it's still not a bad level. I mean, it's kind of funny how close together all the mini-kits are in this level, to the point where you can see like 3 or 4 of them on screen at the same time. That's kind of hilariously embarrassing. Okay, sorry, there's actual good stuff here, like this neat optional room in free play that might be the hologram room from the movie where Grievous talks to Sidious. That's a cool detail, and like, fighting the dude is still fun, even despite the repetitive nature of said fight. I don't know, it's a short enough level to the point where it's not offensively bad. I still really like it in spite of its obvious shortcomings. But we didn't get to see hello there in LEGO form. 0 out of 10, piece of shit level, sorry.
Evacuate? In our moment of triumph? I think you overestimate the...
Death Star Escape is just Rescue the Princess Part 2, and it's not as good as its predecessor. Best parts of this level are the direct callbacks to scenes from A New Hope, whether it be the chasm where you think you took a wrong turn, or the part where you chase a stormtrooper down the hallway only to get greeted with 1,000,000 stormtroopers, which is a good special edition change. I will fight you on that. What drags this level down a bit is the tedium of certain segments, like this part where you have to free a speeder and then use it to turn some buttons green. Meh. It's also really easy to lose your stormtrooper helmet by getting hit, and you'll need that to open up a few panels, which makes it pretty annoying when you have to go back for one. And in general, there's a lot less to discover here compared to Rescue the Princess. Most of the secrets are just out in the open and not that cool to find.
Let's see. What else? The inclusion of the Obi-Wan and Vader fight playing out during gameplay is a nice addition. I don't mind that you don't get to play through this fight since there's already a stellar Vader fight elsewhere in the game. It's cool to sit back and watch an actually dynamic version of this fight. These window-wiping stormtroopers are a pretty comical inclusion. Shame they laced the window with C3 or something. Hey, why does everything in this game explode so easily?
What do you mean they blew up the Death Star? Oh!
Rebel attack. Hell yeah, man. Blowing up the Death Star. One of the most iconic scenes in all of cinema Why is this level so average? Like, I'm gonna be real with you, Chief. Aside from the ending part where you do the trench run with Vader on your tail and ultimately shoot your shot with a torpedo, this level's pretty basic and repetitive. Use torpedoes on targets in the ground, take down ray shields, rinse and repeat. It's got a couple cool secrets here and there, but it really isn't anything that different from many of the other vehicle levels. Still, I must reiterate, cool as shit ending.
Well, that was a concise rundown of everything for and against this level, so I don't really have much to say. Fun fact. In the co-op for this level, player 2 pilots the Y-Wing, which can carry up to 5 torpedoes instead of 3. Congrats to all you Y-Wing stans.
And the Empire will be defeated by Ewoks.
The Battle of Endor. 4. A-B-Y. Hey! Why are years and events in Star Wars history calculated by how close or far they took place from the Battle of Yavin? It's an important event for the audience, but in universe, so much more significant events happened over the course of galactic history. That wasn't even the only time the Death Star was destroyed. If anything, it would be better if we measured dates on how close they took place to the day the Empire essentially lost the war. You know, that time their base was ravaged by furries? This level is very accurate to that event, because you spend a lot of time just dicking around in the Ewok village. I guess it's neat to have a tranquil start to a level for once, but Defense of Kashyyyk did it first. The slog through the forest is perfectly adequate. There's nothing wrong with it, but nothing special about it. But the entire tone of the level changes when you get to the titular Battle of Endor. You get giant catapults to fling rocks at an AT-ST, then you could ride it against other AT-STs because there were like 4 of them at once. Oh man, it's epic.
There's other fun little elements at play here, like this mini trailer that randomly spawns various creatures, or this tractor that you can use to ride up a stream into a waterfall, or the pretty satisfying puzzles inside the shield generator. This level makes great use of shorty puzzles involving Wicket, and it's just generally a fun one to vibe in. Not the best, but not bad either.
The crowds are going nuts!
I wonder who they can make player 2 in the pod race. I mean, the point is that there can only be one first place winner, but if both players 1 and 2 travel at the same speed, then you could just say that it was a close race, but Anakin came out on top, as proven by the cutscene. With that in mind, pretty much everyone but Saboba can be player 2 in the main story. Oh. It's just Anakin, but green, who's player 2? Why can't I play as Alter Bleedo? Or Ben Quadaneros? Or Glup Shit? The pod race is a pretty fun level. It might be simple, turn off your brain to smash into everything to get studs fun, but you have to turn your brain back on to aim your pod into every mini-kit, since this is the only vehicle level where you can't shoot anything. The Tuskens, of course, didn't get the memo, and will shoot at the racers and cause rock slides, resulting in differences in the terrain for each lap.
Despite these small differences, this is a bit of a repetitive mission since you're going across largely the same course 3 times in a row. And I mean, like, I know Mario Kart is basically the same thing, but with Mario Kart you got items to make things a little spicier. With this, you kinda get the gist of it halfway through the second lap. But it's still pretty fun and unique. A hell of a lot better than the unnecessarily difficult original incarnation of this level. Though, I must question why there's a TIE Fighter gate on the service ramp. Like, putting aside the fact that the Empire won't exist for another 13 years, what is it about this ramp that's exclusive to the Empire? What secrets are they hiding on this small incline that they don't want anyone else to see? I don't know. Pretty fun mission overall, but not amazing. I do want to highlight the weird-ass cutscenes for a minute, though. Like, C-3PO is just already gold, even though in Phantom Menace he was only half built. The audience is just made out of cardboard cutouts of multiple Anakins, 3POs, Count Dooku's, Jango's, Padme's, and Captain Tarples'. And finally, Watto is here. That's not really a weird thing. I just wanted to mention that because I like Watto.
Eddie! What'll it be, pal?
I've always had incredibly mixed feelings on Through the Junlin Wastes. On the one hand, I generally don't like desert levels in anything, and this sure is a lot of desert. Like, emphasis on a lot. This level's super long, and the Sandcrawler bit is just really tedious. Not only is free in R2 with this slow block pushing puzzle kind of annoying, but after he's free, trying to accomplish anything in here is a nightmare because the Jawas keep walking up to you and zapping you, which is such a huge goddamn nuisance. The game essentially encourages you to murder them so they don't hinder your progress, and I don't know, man. That is not the Jedi way, is it? You know, speaking of which, I feel like every time we do this level in free play, the Sith Lord we randomly get assigned is Darth Maul. Like, I doubt the game is programmed that way, but it just always seems to be him. It's like they predicted his eventual fate on this planet before Clone Wars even existed yet. How interesting. Anyway, the level's not bad despite its shortcomings. It's got some cool stuff, like, Patrick, talk about the cool stuff.
Okay, the way you turned 3PO and R2's escape pod into a ramp was pretty cool. There's also the Tusken's camp you can find, if the mood strikes to kill not just the fellows, but the females, and the adolescents also. There's a power brick in the mine shaft, so you have to pull a Steve/Alex/zombie/Enderman and demolish anything in your way with a minecart. There's also this room in the Sandcrawler where you can flick through TV channels.
It has no functional purpose. It just makes me feel bad.
And then there's the final area, filled to the brim with goodies. Destroy Obi-Wan's fresh laundry. Feel bad about that. Make up for it by mowing his lawn, even though there's no grass. Just this coarse, rough, and irritating substance of unknown origin. Dig up buried treasure. Unearth Luke's TC-14 calculator. And the best part is that there's 2 land speeders, so you and a friend can cruise over quicksand to your heart's desire. This level's placement in the middle of the list is a result of its strengths and weaknesses balancing each other out, cause its major strength and weakness are the same thing. This level is too dang big.
This is where the fun begins.
Battle over Coruscant pretty much gives you exactly what you would want out of an adaptation of Revenge of the Sith's opening. It's an on-rail shooter where you just fire at whatever's in front of you and take in the sights and sounds of this epic battle. It's very simple, there's no alternate paths or anything. You can get every single mini-kit in story mode, which I believe is a unique attribute only this level has, so that's cool. It's obviously very simple from a gameplay standpoint, but it works wonders regardless, and I always have a blast with it. It helps that despite using the same checkpoint system as OG Gunship Cavalry, where if you die you don't immediately respawn in the same spot, the checkpoints in this level are way more forgiving and lenient, so it's never a frustrating experience. So yeah, pretty good shit.
Just remember to keep in mind that the flight controls are inverted. Or don't keep that in mind, because the unique death cutscene that plays is hilarious.
Make a wish, honey.
I know we haven't really been talking about the extra toggle feature in this video, and I know that you can get everything you need from this level in story mode, but please go back into this level with extra toggle on in free play. That, my friends, is how you get to see Buzz Droid take flight. Also, hearing the opening score from the Space Battle long take in the original film is what really ties the whole experience together. James, Revenge of the Sith is your favorite Star Wars score. How could you not mention that? What were you thinking?
Sorry, I forgore.
Very good. The ratio is prosperous. Very good.
Chancellor Imperial picks up right where Battle over Coruscant left off, both in the story and in terms of the quality of the levels. It's a pretty fun infiltration of Grievous's cruiser where you gotta beat up some droids, and you kill Count Dooku, and you save the Chancellor carrying Obi-Wan unconscious on your back. Actually, nah, he's awake. You gotta have 2 Jedi to play as. Otherwise, the second player is stuck with either R2 or Chancellor Palpatine, the most useless character in any story level. He literally can't do anything but jump. I guess his dress is very pretty, but seriously, why is Palpatine such a useless character who has no special abilities whatsoever? I guess you can't really expect anything out of this normal-ass man who can't do any fighting at all. That's okay. I forgive you for being boring, Palpatine. You're a very sweet and innocent man. The elevator part is pretty cool too, and a nice callback to the original movie. And yeah, overall this is a solid level. It doesn't do anything remarkable, but it's pretty fun the whole way through.
As a side note, I love how the cutscene portrays Dooku's death. Anakin doesn't hesitate, and Obi-Wan's all for it. Oh, and my thoughts about the level are... it's good, it's based, it's poggers, although they did get lazy with the last 2 mini-kits. I'm not gonna dock points for those though. It's as the general says, that would be useless, sir.
Bonus level alert. This is where we would rank Lego City, a level where a man has fallen into the river and you need to start the rescue helicopter.
Hey!
Except not actually. This This is pretty much an open world sandbox where you interact with everything you can in order to collect 1 million studs. It's a really cool and fun concept, but there are 2 drawbacks here. First, there's exactly 1 million studs, meaning if you're missing a few towards the end, it can be really frustrating trying to track them down. And second, while this level's good, there's another level later on that does this concept a lot better, meaning this one loses a bit of its luster and isn't that interesting to go back to in comparison. The only thing this one really has going for over its sequel is the cool Wookiee vehicle you get to ride. Otherwise, you're better off waiting till we get to the superior version of this level. Alright, we're halfway through the list, so now's a good time for a sponsor transition. You know what shape Lego bricks are? Square! You know where Star Wars takes place? Space. You know what happens when you put those 2 words together? Squarespace. Bada boom. Squarespace is a fantastic, intuitive, online website builder that allows you to create beautiful websites for your business or personal hobby. Present your work using Squarespace's professional portfolio designs. Display projects in customizable galleries and add password-protected pages to share private works with clients. You can even present your videos from YouTube, Vimeo, and Animoto on your Squarespace site. Add an image overlay to your video to improve your website's load speed by waiting to embed video players until playback starts. Every design automatically includes a unique mobile presence that matches the overall style of your website, so your content will look great on every device, every time. And if you don't want that, you can always disable the mobile view from Website Manager. Buying a domain from Squarespace is so simple because there are no hidden fees or price hikes. Each domain comes with an ad-free parking page and free WHOIS privacy on eligible domains. Squarespace sells over 200 top-level domains, so you can find the perfect name for your website. Choose a URL that ends in .com, .net, .org, or you can always get a more specific one like .art if you want to be fancy. If you're ready to share your passions or promote your business with the rest of the world, head to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/ShapeFrillis to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
So then, 80 Jedi showed up. I took out about 67 of them.
Jedi Battle is a short but sweet level. It's got Jedi, and it's got a battle. It literally covered everything it said it would in the title. Don't get greedy now. It's pretty cool how with this one you continually rescue new party members. I just like gradually building up your repertoire of playable characters. Plus it's cool to start off with Mace Windu. This is the only story level you get to play as him and use his epic, unique, purple lightsaber. There's no other purple lightsabers in the game. Unless you turn on the super lightsabers extra, of course, and give literally everyone an epic purple lightsaber. And when everyone's epic... no one will be. Speaking of not epic, this level does completely omit the 3 beasts that Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Padme had to contend with, which is disappointing because they would have been fun to fight. Here, Padme is just clawed for no reason, like nothing clawed her. What the f happened? I know she and Anakin probably like it rough in the bedroom, but this is ridiculous.
At least they rectified their sins by adding the beast fights in LEGO Star Wars 3. Even though they just gave up and made them 3D models with hardly any traces of Lego. Maybe it's for the best that they didn't adapt this part of the movie. This level is still plenty fun without them. It has Jedi Bob in it. I mean, what more can you ask for? I love how in free play, if you bring a Sith with lightning or force choke, you can kill everyone. All of these Jedi are able to be slaughtered before the Clone War had the chance to even begin. Finding the right droids to defeat scattered across the arena has its charm, but executing the Jedi Order prematurely is my favorite thing to do in this level. Yet whether you're in free play or story, this level is still a fun romp. They even changed Anakin's lightsaber color from blue to green in the level's story mode. Just like in the movie!
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Into the Death Star is the only vehicle level that cracked the top half of this list. It's the best vehicle level in the game, and it's only number 17. This really says a lot about our society. Yeah, even though we're not big fans of vehicle levels, this one really slaps. It feels as climactic and exciting as it should, with the interior of the Death Star being a cool area with a ton of shit to shoot down. It also feels way more impactful than the first Death Star level, since rather than firing your torpedoes and then watching the Death Star blow up in a cutscene, you actually get to escape it as it's exploding. Obviously it's just because that's how it was in the movie. The first Death Star level couldn't offer something like this by design, but maybe that's a sign that the second Death Star battle was just cooler than the first one, don't at me. Obviously the first one was more impactful from a story perspective, but the second one is just more exciting to watch. Search your feelings, you know it to be true.
Also, you get to sink the Star Destroyers.
We're sinking!
Lifeboats! We forgot to make lifeboats!
You also get a pseudo-boss fight with the Death Star core. James doesn't like these things that shoot lightning because you have to be in an awkward position to shoot them, but I think their inclusion is hilarious because it implies that either Palpy is such a narcissist that he made his ultimate weapon also shoot lightning, or when he was thrown down the reactor shaft, his spirit fused with the Death Star itself, and this is his final gambit to kill you in the last level of the game. What? It makes more sense for him to haunt the Death Star instead of flinging his spirit to the other side of the galaxy to inhabit a clone body, which is what George Lucas totally envisioned. Regardless of retcons, this level does a great job interpreting the real finale of the saga.
Who's got two thumbs and betrayed his best friend? This guy!
Patrick and I were a little mixed on Betrayal over Bespin. If I had my way, I would rank it a lot higher. I mean, really, ranking it this low was never a condition of our arrangement.
I have altered the deal. Pray I do not alter it any further.
Whatever, it's pretty cool. First of all, I'm biased because it includes my favorite moment in any Star Wars score, which is the part where R2 opens the door and you hear Han and Leia's theme swell and oh my god, it's so good! Whatever, I talked about this a million years ago with Sideways. Go check that video out. It's also a neat detail that the door to open the way to the Falcon is an R2 panel in this level. That's pretty cool. You know what else is pretty cool? Chasing and fighting Boba Fett, murdering innocent civilians with a single punch, randomly riding a car for some reason, and just the whole vibe and atmosphere of Cloud City, which is perfectly captured in this level. It's pristine and beautiful, but the level still feels urgent, like you're making a daring escape, which you are.
Yeah, this is a pretty good level. Not great, in my opinion, but still very, very good. The highlights include all the iconic Cloud City locales recreated to be minifigure scale. The room where Han was tortured, the dining room where Vader prepared a lovely feast, the beautiful window-filled hallway, which was an actually good special edition change. I don't want to hear it. My personal favorite moment, though, has got to be breaking into the Ugnaughts room to rebuild 3PO. The funny thing about this segment is that you can still build 3PO in free play, but he ends up feeling a bit broken up. This is where I should be hearing a rim shot, not cricket noises. That's so cliche. That's actually what my main problem with this level is. Things like killing a bunch of stormtroopers to open the Falcon, killing innocent civilians, or even driving a car past stormtroopers have already been done before in previous levels. As a result, this level feels too samey to the previous ones. Not a bad level, it's just one I've seen before.
You just got mauled.
You know, it's interesting to think how this game came out at a time where the fight scene in Phantom Menace was all that Darth Maul had. Like, nowadays he's one of the best written and most interesting villains in all of Star Wars, but back then he was just cool devil guy with double-bladed lightsaber.
No. The weird thing is for him to have battle droids after he's been seen as nothing but an enemy for whatever side Palpatine's on for so long.
Oh well, it was still a cool fight, and this level is still a cool adaptation of that fight. Chasing Darth Maul through this facility and taking down legions of droids as you do it is fun. As is riding these weird power generator things, checking out this cool looking secret room in free play that just screams Sith aesthetic, and chopping Maul down in the final area. It's a fairly simple level, but it's still one of the better ones from Phantom Menace.
Here we are, R2. Dagobah system.
Dagobah is a seriously underrated level. It's such a unique and fun environment to explore. Yeah, believe me, I wouldn't usually be saying this about a swamp, but with this one, it's fun to see all the secrets it has in store. There's a random racetrack for some reason. You can enter Yoda's hut and destroy all his possessions, including his random Sith TV that exists for some reason. You can go swimming through this disgusting swampy water as R2, and he gets this sonar thingy that's both a movie reference and unique to this level. Get out of town! Dagobah is a hoot and a half. What really makes this level super unique and cool is how its story mode progression differs slightly from free play. There's an entirely unique area in story mode where Luke trains with Yoda. He can't use the Force on his own, so Yoda has to ride on his back to help him. It's kinda neat how they adapted this iconic imagery when it wasn't really necessary to. But it's awesome how they went the extra mile and really sold us through gameplay on the idea that Yoda is training Luke. And again, it's neat how you don't actually go to this level in free play. It's there optionally if you want to check it out, but if you're not interested, you can keep going on your merry way. Or raid Yoda's hut, that's also really fun.
Hold it! This is all well and good and all, but there are two key events that take place on Dagobah that have not been showcased in this level. Does this level have them? Yes, they do! Luke may have Yoda and R2 as company, but his trial against Ghost Vader remains. This boss fight is successfully ethereal, as Vader will teleport from place to place, and he does not attack you at first. He just stands there and defends, but only in the final phase does he fight back. Yet, he only attacks Luke, as this is his trial after all. Much like how pulling the X-Wing out of the water is Yoda's moment to shine. Pulling the X-Wing out completely ends the level, but in story mode, Luke is incapable of lifting the X-Wing all the way. You have to use Yoda. This level is probably the best in the game in terms of telling story through gameplay. All throughout this level, the whimsy, the fear, and the magic of Dagobah has been perfectly encapsulated.
So the only thing that you can tell me is that I will find Jabba at Jabba's palace.
Ah, Jabba's palace. What was perhaps at one point the hardest level in the game for 8-year-old me. It really loses its impossible difficulty once you know that you're supposed to shoot the droids to enter, and that Luke can choke Gamorreans. Good riddance to those filthy
that was really bad. Anyway, yeah, it's a really cool detail that Luke can force choke Gamorreans, and only Gamorreans, since that's what he did in the original movie. Beyond that, this level has the unique gimmick of bounty hunter helmets that you can use to fool doors similarly to stormtrooper helmets. But these ones also give you thermal detonators to blow up shiny metallic objects, which is pretty cool, and a neat reference to Leia's use of one when she was disguised as the bounty hunter that the helmet here is based on. Epic! You can also ride on the little spider dudes that are wandering around for no reason. You don't need them to progress in the level, you can just ride them just cuz. That's a cute detail. In general, this is a fun gauntlet of varied challenges and light puzzles leading up to the room where Han is waiting, frozen in carbonite. Also, you can play as him frozen in carbonite using extra toggle in both this and the Bespin levels. That's pretty funny. It all culminates with the Rancor battle, which is pretty mechanically simple, but still really cool. It's the only real giant monster boss battle you get in this game, and it's rad to take him down with the power of human sacrifices. What? Or rather, pig sacrifices. Sorry, Gamorreans, only people have human rights.
So wait, why did I get cancelled when I called the—
Oh god, Pim, don't repeat it.
Luke, go to the trap! It's a trap!
It's a trap indeed. A Cloud City trap, that is. This level's so cool, man. Just an incredibly fun chase/boss fight where you pursue Vader through all your favorite Cloud City areas. The Carbonite Chamber, the place where you get your hand chopped off, the other ones. Everyone is here. It's also nice that this level also gives R2 a lot of stuff to do during the boss segments. Though this one part where you have to push a platform to send R2 upwards, then push it back down, then up again, all while stormtroopers are shooting at you, is a little bit tedious. Other than that, this is a grand old time. It's tense, bombastic, and exciting, with incredible atmosphere and music to boot.
I concur. The way Luke and R2 consistently work in tandem throughout what is essentially a level-sized boss fight, I can call it nothing less than impressive. Most impressive. That line reminds me, the switch to activate the Carbonite freezing chamber can only be activated with the dark side, because Vader was the one to turn it on with the Force in the original film. And with this switch flipped, you can use the crane to drop a stormtrooper into the pit. It burns! Actually, no, it freezes. Except, that's not a Carbonite block, that's just a bunch of Carbonite-colored mini-kit parts. Wait a minute. Is this how mini-kits are formed? Mini-kits are made from human sacrifices? We've been making miniature ships out of human flesh this whole time! Fuck!
The negotiations were short.
Oh, that's a nice level. The one that started the whole thing. It's time to talk about what makes negotiations so dang good. You start with a decently spacious meeting room. You can get used to moving around, but you probably did plenty of that in the cantina. Speaking of the cantina though, these chairs beckon you to use the Force on them, playing the cantina theme. Hearing this tune here does 3 things. 1, it makes you feel safe. by playing a familiar, upbeat tune in your eerily quiet chrome surroundings. 2. These literal musical chairs show off how wacky the secrets of this game can get. 3. Letting the tune play out spawns a plethora of studs, demonstrating how valuable it is to interact with everything, as you never know how big the boons they're hiding can be. Once you've explored and interacted with everything in this room, there's only one thing left to do. Use the Force on the exit door. The rare usage of voice acting at this moment heightens the tension by making it clear that battle droids are rapidly approaching on your location. With nowhere to run and the classic Star Wars theme blaring, you know this is where the fun begins.
Damn, Patrick deadass had that much to say about the opening room of this level. Negotiations is one of my favorite tutorial levels in all of gaming. It's incredibly simple, you just run down the hallway and beat up some droids, but there's so much to discover both in story and free play. You can use the Force on these panels to get mini kits, subtly priming you to leave no stone unturned when searching for secrets in this game. You fight increasingly larger numbers of battle droids, building up to the arrival of the droidicas. All these rooms on the side are so fun to look through, with my favorite being what appears to be a droid birthday party? I think that's cake on the table. I can't really tell. It's probably just a break room for the droids, but either way, it's really charming. Maybe it's because it's the first level in the game, but I just have some of the fondest memories of playing through negotiations. It's lightning in a bottle, giving you such a good taste of the whimsy and imagination the rest of this game has in store for you. It's an impressively fun time considering how bland the source material it's adapting is. It slaps. I can't sing its praises enough. It's negotiations. Come on.
What about the droid attack on the Wookiees?
This level really makes you feel like you have to survive Order 66. It starts out as a leisurely stroll with Yoda and Chewie making their way to a meeting with their chill clone comrades. They just vibing until...
Execute Order 6.
Well, okay.
Damn, this cutscene hits you in the feels. The clones actually look like their inhibitor chips just activated, even though the chips wouldn't exist until 9 years later. And then look at the genuine shock of this portrayal on Yoda's face. Here, killing the clones in this level is purely for self-defense, as it is an onslaught of clones doing everything in their power to make sure you don't leave this planet alive. They even go as far as to team up with the battle droids. Clones and droids being roommates together? It's mass hysteria. The beach is an especially tricky area, as there are tons of mini-kits and studs to collect while infinitely respawning enemies run out of the ocean. And there are also these insta-kill bombs, and the clones have walkers. Even if you and a friend steal the walkers, that's not gonna make keeping your studs against a storm of blue and red blaster fire any easier. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention how hard this establishing shot of the beach goes.
I love basically everything about Defense of Kashyyyk, from freeing the captured Wookiees, to the aforementioned beach set piece, to using the Force to destroy boulders and eventually reaching the random space egg in the woods to escape. I also love how the level transitions from day to night as you reach each new area, making it seem like you're lasting through a long-ass onslaught of enemies all day. Again, it dead-ass feels as stacked against you as Order 66 should, which is neat. This level doesn't have a ton of cool secrets to find in free play, which holds it back a bit, but from a story perspective, it really shines, and I always look forward to it.
No! Not into the pit! It burns!
The fight on Jabba's sail barge has always been one of my favorites in the entire saga, and the LEGO adaptation of it doesn't disappoint. Great Pit of Carcoon is nuts. The amount of dudes shooting at you at the beginning can be a bit overwhelming, but it's satisfying to build some big guns to fire back at them with. The Boba Fett fight here is short but sweet, and weirdly enough, I think his defeat here is actually a bit less embarrassing than it is in actual Star Wars. I mean, his scream and flailing arms aren't captured in this cutscene, which gives the LEGO version of his defeat surprisingly more dignity. Can we just give up on trying to make this character cool? He's such a fucking joke, it's ridiculous. Anyway, the music here is stellar, the disco interlude in the middle is a funny touch, and the ending segment is exciting as well. There's even a whole ass other side of the sail barge to explore during free play. Just so much cool shit in this one. Oh man.
Another instance where I have nothing left to add, so it's time for another round of Patrick gives fun facts about a LEGO game. Wow, that is a long and oddly specific title. Did you know? I don't know what button this would apply to on every controller, so I'm just gonna say, by holding Z on the nunchuck, you can make Leia do a sexy dance. For everyone who gets horny for rectangles that are vaguely shaped like a person. Awooga! But Leia's not the only one who can bust a move by holding Z. You can also play the Gamorrean's rocking out animation anytime, anywhere by doing this. There are 2 other characters with a special animation from holding Z. Stay tuned for number 4 to figure out who they are. And thus ends this episode of Patrick Gives Fun Facts About a LEGO Game. Wow, that's a long and oddly specific title.
We gotta find the princess, and you gotta help us.
So before writing the script, we jotted down a bunch of bullet points for each level after we played each level. This way we could remember every detail about a level that we wanted to talk about, whether they be small or large things. For the most part, we only put down about 2 or 4 bullet points for each level. This level has 10! Me and James never thought that this level was anything special as kids, but it turned out to be so jam-packed with content that we had to rank it this high. The fact that you start this level by turning a wall into a mini TIE fighter is a great indication of how detailed this level is. For the majority of this level, you're reliving Han, Luke, and Chewie's jaunt to the detention cells, but you can actually see Obi-Wan on his journey to shut down the shield generator.
Why are we still moving towards it?
Shield generator.
It's pulling us in.
You can't follow him because you don't got those mad Jedi hops. Never has a level been more blatant about enticing you to replay it in free play, especially considering that they show how to obtain a mini-kit on the alternate path. Shutting down the shield generator causes a mini-kit to spawn on top of it. It's so cool that they have the AI Obi-Wan actually turn off the machine. That's not necessary to beat the level, but they included it for the immersion of the story. Little things like that quickly add up to make this one of the best levels in the game. They seriously just gave stormtroopers a unique, silly animation for them talking on the phone. Most people would probably come into this room guns blazing, but the developers didn't care. They put in this animation specifically for my people, LEGO Star Wars connoisseurs.
There's also the super fun crane game where you have to kill stormtroopers by dropping shit on them or picking them up and throwing them in a pit, the super large beach trooper hot tub room, and even a secret room where you pilot Death Star turrets and shoot down TIE fighters. We didn't even know this was here until our most recent playthrough. It's not required for story progression, mini-kits, or the power brick. It's just there for you to have fun murdering people and collect some studs. That's such an amazing detail that went so well hidden because we didn't find out about it for 15 years. The ending bit is so fun too. You shoot down cameras to stop reinforcements from coming, as they did in the movie, and then check each of these cells for the princess. One of these cells just has a skeleton man, which may or may not be the remains of Rebel Friend. God, I hope not. And then you find Leia on the right side, which is where she was in the original movie, because this game is so obsessed with attention to detail, it's so good! Yeah, this is a cool level. Tons of fun secrets, an entire second path to explore. Honestly, if it wasn't so easy to lose the stormtrooper helmets you're required to have to open doors, this might have been in the top 5. But it's still a banger for real. Great shit.
If there was any part of any Star Wars movie that felt designed to be a video game level, it'd be the Droid Factory segment from Attack of the Clones. The death-defying obstacle course that Anakin and Padme had no right to survive is much more plausible when you're not watching real people traverse through nightmare CGI.
It's a nightmare!
Furthermore, it's much more fun to play through this factory than watch it. Riding buckets, dodging these crushy thingies, and killing the Geonosian race has never been this fun before. However, what really puts this level so high on the list is all the secret rooms. To get the power brick, you have to navigate through this nifty ray shield maze. There are 2 mini-kits placed in rooms that seemed like they were designed to train the newly created battle droids in the factory. For one of the mini-kits, you have to use an astromech to combine the correct 2 colors that would make green, purple, or orange. This must be where the Geonosians teach the battle droids their primary colors. As for the other mini-kit, you need to make your way across these moving chessboards, and the only reason I can think of as to why they're chessboards is so the droids can develop smarter tactics by playing chess. Or maybe this room is a platforming challenge for them. I'm thinking way too hard about the textures in a children's video game.
Regardless, Droid Factory is dope as shit. It really goes all in on the platforming front, and it's straight up so fun to traverse. I love jumping over lava or going to the catacombs. It's all such a blast. Even maneuvering 3PO across these platforms is a blast. It shouldn't be, but it is. That's the power of this level. I think Patrick mostly covered it though, so let's just move on. Bonus level alert! This is where we'd rank Newtown, aka Lego City, but better. This one has so much fun shit to explore and play around with. A bunch of cars, a boat, a Sith church with a fire truck you can attach the ladder to. There's a house you can grow, there's a house you can shrink, there's a full-on basketball court, you can ride Tauntauns and a land speeder. It's just so cool. It's got the same problem as Lego City where it can be frustrating if you don't know where the last studs are, but I can live with that. It's such a blast and pretty much the only worth the bonus room has. Outside of unlocking Indiana Jones as a playable character when you watch his trailer. Yeah, that's deadass all you have to do to unlock Indiana Jones in this game. You watch his trailer, and then he's available at the shop. You can get him unlocked at the shop within the first minute of gameplay. I can't decide if that's brilliant or lazy, and I guess I never will. Let's move on.
Imperial troops have entered the base. Imperial troops have entered... Sorry, I dropped the thing.
What makes Escape from Echo Base such an awesome and memorable level is the fact that it basically does everything you could possibly ask a snow level to do. We got snowmen, we got hot chocolate, we got a slippery slide, we got ice fishing and sledding, and a big ass snow globe that you can break out of in order to explore this small, Christmassy outdoor area. I mean, they just ran wild with the theme here and made this level such a treat to explore in free play, while also keeping the urgency up from a story perspective with a constant snowtrooper threat. There's other cool details like the back-to-tank room Luke was recovering in, or the fact that you have to fix parts of the Falcon before taking off since it do be broken in this movie. It's just an incredibly satisfying level in terms of its actual content. Plus, it's really pretty to look at. I dig it a lot.
And this level makes for an excellent get-rich-quick scheme. Poo money, 2 Tauntauns, defecation, profit. However, this level is great regardless of exploits. Sure, it's a bitch to get up to where the outdoor area is, but that just makes it all the more rewarding when you do. This level is just coziness incarnate. Even the dead do nothing but vibe. Oh yeah, I should probably mention the skeletons in the closet. There's a mini-kit that requires 4 people to stand on buttons to spawn in. Now, you could backtrack to bring your full party of 4 into this room in story mode, but that takes effort. Raising the dead so you can talk them into standing on a button for a few seconds is much less taxing.
What have you done with those plans? Gary here never sees his daughter because of people like you.
Secret motherfucking plans, man. You would hope that a level based on such an iconic movie scene would be just as iconic itself. And good news, your hopes have been answered. First of all, in story mode it's amazing because once Princess Leia is taken out of the equation for story reasons, she gets replaced with the best character of all time. Rebel Friend, my beloved! He's completely unnecessary. Player 2 probably could have been content to play as R2 for half the level, but the fact that he exists just makes me so happy. Look at him, man. He's Rebel Friend, a god among men.
Did you just say among?
It's also super fun to mess with him with this crane, plus actually use it to pick up 3PO and traverse him over a gap. So yeah, story mode in this level is great, with the cool aesthetic of this ship and a ton of urgency with the number of stormtroopers you have to gun down, in addition to a few run-ins with Vader. But much like Rescue the Princess, there's just so much optional stuff to explore and discover in this level that it feels a bit overwhelming, but in a good way. For instance, you can access an entire area that's only available in free play. You actually get a glimpse of it in story mode where you see Vader infinitely choking rebels through a window, and in free play you can stand where he stood, get some mini kits, or build your own car. Build 2 cars in fact. Park one in a certain spot later on in the level to get a mini kit, and then drive them all the way to the end of the level. The fact that you can do this just tickles the imagination. Even when it seems like the fun's over and you can't carry your car across this gap, the realization that you can pick it up with a crane, just like how you picked up 3PO, is just such a satisfying moment.
There are a ton of things I'd love to touch on, like the infinite stud generator in the first room, or the room where you can constantly eject Imperials into space, but I don't really think I have to justify this level's spot on the list. It introduces Rebel Friend and Beach Troopers. Nuff said.
Your clones are very impressive. You must be very proud.
Discovery on Kamino has a lot to, well, discover. For the first half of the level, you're following Taun We as she showcases the secrets that have been hidden here for so long. Or you can ignore the plot and just sweep the floor with this broom that won't stop until it makes a full rotation around the entire room. The reward is just studs. I don't even know why they bothered adding this. Thankfully, the rewards you actually want to work hard for have some neat puzzles behind them, like this mural depicting Jango that you could use the Force on to turn into the clone helmet. Wow, such detail. But the detail I would be remiss if I didn't mention is the fact that for this level only, they changed the R2 panels to R4 panels because of how central R4 is to your progression. There's so much love and care put into this level, and that's just the half of it.
This level's got such stellar atmosphere, so many cool puzzles and little secrets, the fun chase and boss battle with Jango, the spoon chairs, the disco room. Yeah, this is an awesome level. It's absolutely worth trudging through Bounty Hunter Pursuit in order to get to. Kamino's one of the coolest planets in all of Star Wars, and playing through this level makes it easy to see why. Also, I love how the fetus clones are just a singular Lego brick. That's one of my favorite little visual gags in the whole game. Oh, by the way, Tonwi and Lama Su are the characters that dance when you hit the Z button on the nunchuck. Patrick forgot to mention that, but I did it. Yay.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Hey, fuck you, asshole!
If there's a single level of this game that's straight up just fun to vibe in, not even complete the objectives in, but just to hang out and goof around in, it would definitely be Mos Eisley Spaceport. This might just be the most expansive and exciting level in the game to explore. It seems like every time it's done surprising you, it just throws in more and more cool shit for you to find. First of all, I think anyone who loves the Cantina hub world also loves punching a single person and subsequently starting an all-out brawl. And guess what? You can do that here. Not just in the part of the level where you go to the cantina, but in the opening area out in the streets of Mos Eisley. Being a menace is fun, what can I say? You also get to build an AT-ST for some reason. I have no idea why, that wasn't in the movie, but who cares, it's awesome. Not only is the process of building it piece by piece super fun, but being able to take the fruits of your labor out for a joyride and gun down stormtroopers, or innocent civilians, who said that? Wasn't me, is such a blast. And then you use it to tear down this one wall and find a car wash. Hey, you have a car, kind of. Take your land speeder in for a wash, why not? And then bring it to this Jawa, who slowly walks up to it and drops a shit ton of cash. You just sold your land speeder, which is a reference to Obi-Wan saying that in the original movie. I know we already pointed this out in the previous LEGO Star Wars video, but it's such a cool detail that it bears repeating. God, this level's just loaded to the brim with cool details. Like the shooting gallery where you get to bullseye womp rats, or the security that prevents droids from getting into the cantina because no droids. This level nails the fan service so well, it's insane.
And this level is not done. You thought it was done, you must be shitting. Now you get to play as everybody's favorite scoundrel duo, Han Solo Slow and Chew Taba, as they avoid any Imperial entanglements by killing them. You can even steal their dewbacks and bite their former masters to death. Han rides them backwards for no discernible reason, but it's funny, so it can stay. What can't stay is this Imperial snitch. Remember that scene where a stormtrooper asked this plague doctor guy which way our heroes went? Well, for some reason, they turned this blink and you'll miss it scene into the crux of this level's climax, as Imperial Spy is the boss. Nobody's favorite Star Wars character. Just look at the all-star lineup you've got for this game's bosses. Darth Maul, Boba Fett, Darth Vader, Imperial Spy... Wait, what? I might seem like I'm angry about this, but I'm not. While I'm baffled by the inclusion, I love the execution. It's simple, but effective. That sounds like I've reached the point where I'm done talking, and yes, while for most levels, that would be true, however, Mos Eisley Spaceport is built different. Look, that movie theater is playing Star Wars! I won't be late for it like I was the Croods! This random movie theater is what dreams are made of, and the clip show compiling gameplay segments and cutscenes to represent the titular Star Wars is cinema.
You know, if you saw our previous LEGO Star Wars video, you might have noticed this one segment entitled The Two Brilliantest Levels. Kinda makes this video into a foregone conclusion, but I guess if you haven't seen it, you get to be surprised here. Unless you play the original game, because then you know exactly which two levels are the best. Let's start with Jedi Destiny. Holy shit, this is a good level. It's pretty much exclusively just the final boss battle against Palpatine, and man is it dripping with atmosphere. Hearing his theme blare in the background as you challenge him to a duel is just so satisfying. game.
First things first. Holy Stromboli, Sidious! That's a lot of hearts! Secondly, I love the touch that they don't go for complete accuracy with this level, and they give Palpatine his lightsaber. Future LEGO games have him just try to zap Luke and Vader, but that's not Palpatine at his full capacity. We gotta have the boss fight that they decided to omit from the prequels, with a 6-spinning Senate. And thirdly, it makes sense that they would pair you up with Vader, so you can have two characters, but still, the last playable character in the game's story modes being Vader, and having a Sith Lord work for the light is so surreal and so spectacular.
Palpy takes a few cues from Dooku's book and shoots lightning at one of you, forcing you to switch to the other character and attack him if you're in single player, or just remind your co-op partner to attack if you're in co-op. You then gotta chase him through the room a bit and navigate his electro floor, use a fan to ride up to where he's at, and occasionally take on his Imperial guards who have really funny death sounds, which is the staple of this game, obviously. I love how if you use the disarm troopers extra that turns stormtroopers blasters into carrots, it does the same thing to the royal guards, but they still use them to attack and do the same damage as normal. That's funny.
Despite being a boss level, there are plenty of secret rooms and wide open spaces to hide mini-kits. The neatest of all these hidden rooms has got to be this red one with the chairs straight out of the Jedi Temple. That's such a funny little detail, cause Palpatine would be such a petty asshole that he'd keep the Jedi Council room chairs as trophies in his secret Sith storage room. You keep chasing down Sheev until he has one heart remaining, at which point he goes to the center of the map where that ever iconic balcony is located. One last strike to bring balance to the Force. The euphoria of Palpatine's defeat in Return of the Jedi is enhanced exponentially because it was you who dealt the killing blow. I said killing blow!
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Some of the puzzles in this level to get mini-kits and secrets are surprisingly complex, which is a refreshing change of pace. On the other hand, it's very satisfying to grab the power brick sitting in Palpatine's throne room, hidden behind some Sith magic panels, cause in any other level you'd have to come back here and free play to get it. But with Darth Vader on your side, it's no problem for a change. I think it's just really easy to see why this is such a beloved and incredible level. The atmosphere here is electric, the secrets are great, the fight is fun, it's immensely satisfying from a story perspective because of its deviations from the source material, not in spite of them. It's just an absolute banger level. But of course, it was outdone by one other.
You're afraid that you will never be as strong as Darth Vader.
Yep, everyone knew this was coming because everyone pretty much unanimously agrees. There is no greater level in this game than Darth Vader, and it's extremely clear to see why. For such a generally easy game, this last level of Revenge of the Sith is hard as balls. It's so difficult to survive the opening segment on your first attempt. You're given a limited time to escape the center room before its supports collapse. The platforming later on is tricky and you'll sink in the lava if you stand in place for too long. Basically, there's no time to breathe in this level. You've always got to keep moving. And that's perfect for an adaptation of the Obi-Wan and Anakin duel.
The mini-kits in this level are all over the place in arm's reach because there is no time to have any sort of puzzles. Although they did include the room where Anakin killed Wat Tambor, but it's still in the part with the ticking clock, which, to be honest, is the room where you have the most leeway. There are no breaks in this level. It's just go, go, go! Otherwise, you're going to have to restart each segment over and over and over and over again. But it's not overly frustrating. When you die, the checkpoints are well spaced out, and it's got like a Cuphead vibe where you can hardly ever blame the game for your deaths. You just need to get good, and you do. Each and every attempt, you get a tiny bit further until, finally, in the corner of your eye, you spot it. The high ground! The story reason for Anakin and Obi-Wan teaming up makes perfect sense. They can't fight because there's nowhere safe to fight. But if they work together, I'm sure they can discover a somewhat stable place that they can kill each other.
And they do, because once you reach the end of the level, your final opponent is your co-op partner. You're both given a plethora of hearts and tasked with killing each other. That's just so amazing and such an immensely satisfying way to cap off this brutal challenge that you just helped each other through. It's time to remember why these characters are both here and ultimately allow them to face off against each other. This part is also really fun in free play single player because you're now in a boss fight with whichever wacky character the CPU happens to be right now. And that can lead to some funny out of context screenshots. There is a minor flaw here that we noticed. Turns out if one of you falls in the lava, you respawn with all your hearts, which is kinda cheap. Just promise not to do that to the other person and it'll be fine.
Free play essentially gives the option to make it so that every single character in LEGO Star Wars is now a boss. That means you can make whatever dream battles you want official, or you can make a fight between the Ghost of Yoda and Gonk Droid. I bet all my studs that Gonk Droid dominates.
Yeah, you just can't top this level. It really is that iconic, and everyone knows it. From the genuine challenge, to the incredible music, to the sweet serotonin of that final duel. God, this is the stuff dreams are made of. I've been Schaefer Ellis.
Oh, and Pappy G was here also, who is me.
And good night, Tri-State Galaxy.
I have this Twitter handle that you could click on, or this YouTube channel link that is also available.
And good night, Tri-State Galaxy. I thought you were gonna interrupt me again.
Fuck you, I'm not that predictable.
Man.